Good morning, everybody. This is Unmesh Mehta. I am the co-founder of SourcePro. Welcome to the introductory presentation come demonstration of our new ERP solution, New Horizon. I thank everyone for sparing time to join this webinar. Before we get into the details of the product, a brief highlight about the organization. We are a 2-decade-old company in ERP space. Our product IMMS has its roots in early 2000. We have a customer, a German multinational company who was our first customer number 1, who has been using our product continuously for about 2 decades. And some of our customers, the average age is about 11 years. So our engagement with the client organizations is over a long period of time. The largest customer that we have has about 200,000 unique items in their part master. On an average, they have about 5,000 items in their bill of material. By now, we have more than 150 manufacturing companies who have been using our ERP for a long period of time. And the largest customer that we have is doing about 500 plus crore of turnover. So this is the history of the product, the organization. Before we go further, I would request everybody to keep your questions ready. At the end of the session, I will invite questions and we'll provide you the answers. Right now, all attendees are in listen-only mode. New Horizon is the state-of-the-art ERP solution which has more than 2 decades of experience built into it. It's an end-to-end ERP solution. The uniqueness of this product is its accessibility. It uses this state-of-the-art technology. This product, New Horizon, is device agnostic. It is operating system agnostic. What does it mean to the customer? You could use it from any mobile phone, whether it is Android or iOS. You can use it from any tab. Again, it could be an Android tab or iPad, or it could be used on any standard laptop or desktop running any standard operating system like Windows, Linux or Mac. So accessibility of this product is all pervasive. Wherever you have the access to internet, you will be able to use the product. It is ready for cloud implementation. We already have a few customers who have started using it on the cloud. It's a fully secure ERP solution. From the functionality perspective, the security is implemented role-based. So you can create roles in the organization. This is a definition that user provides. So you create roles within the organization, and with each role you connect the user. So essentially, the user who has been connected to the role will get the access to the functionalities which are given to that role. Over and above this, a user is also connected to the company and the site to which he has the rights. So access to the product is fully governed by the ERP administrator through the security mechanism. We can also enforce password policies, which I will show you in detail when we go to the product. Another killer feature of our ERP is its capability, multilingual capability to hot switch between user interfaces. And this language could be vernacular language or a foreign language. Just to illustrate, I'll show you an example that I am now switching the interface to Hindi. So even in use, you can hot switch between interfaces in different languages. If I want to look at the screen in Tamil, I can do that. So it could be any vernacular language or it could be any international language in which a screen interface can be seen. Then we also have a functionality where users can build their own menus. So depending upon the level at which the user is operating in the system, he or she can decide which are the important menu items for him or her. Based on that, the menu will appear as soon as the user logs in. This gives a tremendous time saving in terms of navigation through the system. Because of its pervasiveness, you can use New Horizon from any location in a very secure manner. So because of the device agnostic product, because it being a OS agnostic product, location independent access to the system is possible. We keep a complete audit trail of all the transactions and masters which are recorded in the system. We also keep track of the user's login data. Every record that is created in the system carries the date timestamp as well as the user stamp. A new record is created or an existing record is altered, the complete audit trail is maintained in the system. As you would see as we go along, a lot of features and functionalities in the product are such that you would not find them usually in this class of product that we are working with. I'll now take you through the finer aspects of the product. One of the most powerful features of our new Horizon is its MRP engine called Autoshop. Now, material requirement planning is a subject by itself, which we have weaved into this product very comprehensively. Plainly put, a material requirement planning engine matches the demand and supply equation. The demand of material in the organization can come from multiple sources. You could be in different kinds of manufacturing setups. You could be in made to order or made to stock kind of a setup. You could be in assembled to order or made to design kind of a setup. Depending upon the product mix that you have and the manufacturing methodology that you have, the demand would be created by the customer orders or forecast orders, which can also be called the stock orders. This would create the demand of material within the organization. In any kind of manufacturing, there are many items or materials which are kept in inventory on a minimum inventory level, and this is also creating a demand of material in the company. And then there is always a possibility of a priority getting shifted, because of which reshuffle of material from job to job is necessitated. So these are some of the illustrations of how demand is created for material requirement planning. Now, material requirement planning is to know three important aspects, which are what is required, in how much quantity is it required, and very importantly, when is it required. Autoshop handles all these three very efficiently, and I'll explain how it is doing this. As soon as the demand is created in the system, Autoshop takes into cognizance the requirement of material. The planning engine works on the principle of allocation. So material is allocated from stock to a job so that it is reserved for that job. The remaining material is then deemed to be the shortage. But Autoshop does not stop there. It looks into the pipeline of material which is still not received in the warehouse. Now, what are the possible stages for this? The possible stages are that material would have come into QC, but not cleared. Material would have been received in stores, but not authorized through the GRN. Material may still be in the pending order situation, not delivered to you, or there could be purchase indents in the company which have yet not been converted into purchase orders. So this is your entire material pipeline. Autoshop also goes and looks for free material available in this pipeline. When I use the word free, it is with a purpose, because we also allocate material in the pipeline to the job. So what is not allocated to jobs in the pipeline is deemed to be the free material, which is allocated to the now created demand. And after that, netting of the shortage, the availability of material, shortages are calculated, for which AutoShop takes action. What does it do? There are two types of materials in the manufacturing setup: things that you buy, things that you manufacture. Material that you buy and not available are taken into purchase indents. So indent is created with the material in shortage along with the linkages to the job from which the requirement has come up. The requirement could have come from the manufacturing order, or requirement could have come from customer order for those items which you are in business of trading. So indents are created for gross quantities with a breakup of the link of the document from which the requirement has come, along with the quantity required in each of these documents. Further, it also creates a delivery schedule based on the lead times that you would have provided for procurement of the material and the manufacturing lead times that you would have provided in your standard process sheets. Indents carry the delivery schedules as well. So procurement is secured for quantities and time, and obviously the items, and indents are generated by AutoShop. For manufactured items in shortage, work orders are created. Work orders are documents given to the shop floor for manufacturing. So work orders are also created by the system. And the third thing that AutoShop creates is labor indents. In situations where there are subcontracted operations, where material has to go out of the shop floor for intermediate operations, labor indents are also created by the system. So when AutoShop run is complete, your entire material planning is done by the system. We have also provided controls in New Horizon with which you can actually restrict the creation of manual indents for items which are being planned by AutoShop, which are your bill of material kind of items or your product and spare kind of items. So you can leave the entire material planning to AutoShop. This is the power of the MRP. We have business cases where customers have benefited with the use of completely automated planning. In case of a customer who is doing business worth about 500 crores, they manage with an inventory on an average of about 35 crores, which means that they do more than 12-13 tons of the inventory. And this manufacturer is a large manufacturer. So you can imagine the kind of saving that people make just by efficiently managing their inventory and leaving the decision making to the system based on the rules that you have defined in the system. So AutoShop is one of the most powerful features that we have in the system apart from others. We also have a mobile app which is meant for management. So we provide management dashboards. These dashboards are available on both kinds of mobile devices, whether Android or iPhone. And the health of the organization can be seen on the mobile wherever you are on real-time basis. We also have built-in sales analytics, which can give you information in graphical form on your pipelines, on your actual performance, in terms of products sold in quantity and value, in terms of performances by individual people in the sales team. And we do tracking as well. So you can actually get to know the status of every lead that you have in the system. So CRM is complete right from lead generation to order booking. And again, you can have text-based reports or you could have graphical reports for this. We have a unique feature in the system called gross contribution. So here you can get the gross contribution on every sale transaction that you have done we work on a concept called COGS, cost of goods sold. So every time an invoice is raised, its COGS value is determined by the system, and you can get to see the percentage wise profit on every sale. Here we have a unique functionality where you can set up the system at the time of implementation and automate the process of creating a profit center with every customer order that you book. Necessarily, this will help you in capturing all the pre-sales and post-sales cost of that order. So your total cost is going to be your cost of goods sold plus your pre and post sales expenses. Everything is factored in, and you can look at the percentage wise profit and absolute value profit for every customer order and for every invoice that you have made for the customer. We also provide real time data on inventory valuation in different phases. The one that you are looking at right now is WIP inventory valuation. So you get to see the WIP value of material lying on the shop floor on real-time basis. So as you can see, you have all the child items with the jobs for which it has been issued to the shop floor with work order number, child quantity, and child value. So what you get to see here is your total inventory value on the shop floor, that is your WIP value. This you can have, this is one of the, okay, inventory valuation will be determined by your first in first out kind of inventory valuation methodology, or it could be moving average, or it could be at actual as you have determined. So the value that you get to see at the end of the report is the total inventory value on the shop floor. Similarly, you could have the predictive costing also. Now this predictive costing is possible just after you have created the bill of material. So based on the bill of material, you can get to know what is your likely cost of bill of material. You can have it by last GRN rate, you can have it by last purchase order rate, or you can have it by standard rate. So these are some of the impacts of system on the availability of information. What we also have in New Horizon is capturing of knowledge. Usually manufacturing knowledge is carried in the heads of people who work there. We have a methodology through which we capture this knowledge. There are several tools through which we do that in the system. You define your product structure, your master bill of material in the system. You define the processes that you have to do to convert your raw material into a finished product. You also define the sequence of operations. You also define the work centers on which these operations have to be done. So entire manufacturing knowledge is captured in the system. So from that point onwards, all your products and processes related data will be a part of the system. So your organization will become more system driven than people driven. So manufacturing resources are your work centers. You would have manufacturing shops under which there would be work centers. That is also captured here. Manufacturing setup or manufacturing work centers could be of machine type or could be of labor type. So all this data is captured in the system. Optimal utilization of production resources. So here you could get to see how your shop floor is loaded at this point in time, which will help you to know whether you have manufacturing capacity available or you are running out of capacity. So this is the summary data where you get to see day by day what are your work centers and whether any capacity is available there. So this helps you to plan your production based on available capacity, or you could also take decisions like make or buy. You could also get this data granularly for the work center wise loading through the work orders that you have issued to the shop floor, and how much time is going to be booked or required for each of these work order is also shown to you. So manufacturing planning on the shop floor can also be handled through the system. Similarly, on the financial accounting side, New Horizon is completely integrated with finance, which I'll explain to you when we go into the details of the product. Financial accounting system integration starts with the creation of a vendor or a customer in the system, or definition of a material in the system, and goes all the way up to creating automatic transactions of inventory movement in your company and posting its value directly in the books of account. This is one of the most thorough integrated financial accounting systems ever seen in any ERP product. How detailed it is can be gauged by the fact that for every issue slip that you make, value of the issue slip is posted in the books of account. For every delivery note that you make, the value of delivery note is posted in the books of account. It's a complete financial accounting system module, which obviously has two components. One component is called auto post accounts, data for which is brought from other parts of ERP into the books, and the other is your regular cash bank, journal voucher kind of transactions, which can be entered into the system, based on which you can get this receivable and payable analysis. Just to give you an idea of the kind of customer base that we have, as you can see, we have a large number of multinational companies as our customers, people who have been using our products for various lengths of time in different kinds of manufacturing setups. We are very firmly established in capital goods, machinery manufacturing, and generally speaking, discrete kind of manufacturing business, as opposed to the process kind of manufacturing business in this product. We compare better than our nearest competition in the field, which is from SAP B1. We have, first of all, conceptual level difference between products like SAP B1 or Microsoft Navision, which is that those products have originated from finance orientation, whereas in our case, the orientation is manufacturing. So the strength of our product lies here, that we cover manufacturing in very great detail. Another thing is that we are very domain specific ERP solution. As I said, we offer this to discrete manufacturing companies, largely capital goods, equipment, machinery manufacturing companies. Whereas a product like SAP B1 is more generic in nature and is offered across spectrum. So naturally, they will not be able to compete against us when we come to our domain, because the manufacturing depth that we have is unsurpassed. We go into every small detail of manufacturing, which extends even to the subcontractor as well. We have built multiple manufacturing methodologies in our product. So you could have a made to stock operation, you could have a made to design operation, or you could have a made to order operation. They are all supported, and there are functionalities available with which you will be able to handle the business of any of this type in the system. We support multiple verticals within discrete manufacturing. Just to give you an illustration, we are the only company with an ERP product that has a unique functionality for those who are in fabrication. We provide inventory tracking by the size of the material. To elaborate this further, if somebody is in the business of fabrication and uses sheets or plates, he would be able to track the material by the size and the number of pieces that he has in inventory, which results in great saving of inventory because optimal sizes for taking up for manufacturing would be seen in the system, not just the weight. This I'll again describe when we are into the product. We are with New Horizon, we have a technology which is not available in SAP B1 today. We have now a cloud access available, so users can choose between deploying it on their own premises or putting it on the cloud. Our licenses are floating licenses across multiple companies and across multiple sites. We offer concurrent license, so it is not a named user license, so there is a great saving in commercial terms. And we have only one kind of license, which is full license. So once you give a license, the user has the freedom to decide how many modules, how many functions, what all does he want to do in that license. If we look at the comparison at the modular level, those who know SAP B1 would be knowing that there are certain modules which are not available in SAP B1 because it was never meant to be a product to be sold to manufacturing companies. So we have things like subcontracting and QC, which are sold as add-ons in SAP B1. By design, we have brought them into our product. We believe that manufacturing core is engineering, planning, production, purchase, stores, QC, and subcontracting. So the amount of work that we have done in these products is unsurpassed. We are one of those rare companies in ERP space who have done integration with CAD products like AutoCAD Inventor, where there is a bi-directional link established. So things that you are doing in AutoCAD, you design your product in AutoCAD, and its bill of material will automatically flow into New Horizon. And similarly, the inventory that you carry in New Horizon will be shown to the designer when he is in AutoCAD. Similarly, we have done integration with a PLM tool called Windchill, which is from PTC. It's a 360-degree integration. So inquiries are entered into ERP, which flow into PLM for estimation. Estimations come back into ERP for offer. Once the order is finalized, it is entered into ERP and order details are carried into PLM. And the detailed engineering and bill of material are created in PLM and brought into the ERP. Any change of bill of material at the design level is done in PLM and brought into ERP. So it's a complete 360-degree integration. We also have now integration with Tally. So for those companies who would want to continue using Tally as their principal accounting system, there is an integration done between New Horizon and Tally. So these are the unique features that we have in New Horizon. To summarize, we believe that New Horizon is a must-have tool for those who want to optimize inventory, resulting definitely into lower working capital requirement, hence reduction in cost. And it's a very user-friendly kind of ERP, very easy to use. There is only one version of fact in the system. So your organization needs to enter the data at the point of origin. It becomes available to whosoever wants it, wherever he wants it. So any data going into the system has to be entered once only. And finally, we are very price efficient. The value for money that we offer is very, very friendly to the customers. We believe that we have got a product that would be found highly acceptable to all our potential customers. Now, this is the end of my presentation, which was slideshow. Now we are getting into the product, which is New Horizon. This is the login screen of New Horizon. As I explained to you in the slideshow, New Horizon has two levels at which the access is defined. One is the role-based security and the other is user. Here I am logging in with my password. The minute I am recognized as a user, system will bring to me the companies in which I have the rights of access and the sites in which I have the rights of access. So I have to select in which company and in which site do I want to work right now. This is the home screen of the product. I'll explain the functionalities one by one. For the entire product, we have done a very detailed documentation, and online help is available directly in the system. So right from the product itself, you can launch the help. So a user can read through on the functionalities. And we have also provided a very good example. And through entire documentation, we have used the illustration of a bicycle, an equipment or machine that everybody is familiar with. And all illustrations relate to or link to this bicycle illustration. So we have a very detailed documentation done, which is screen by screen. Here you would see that you have again the same example with part code, etc. And the details are provided. And wherever there is a hot link, like reference is made to user management, it jumps to the user management site and gives you how users are defined. And then you have all the detailed documentation. Coming back to the product, the second important thing is this: notifications. System has notifications which are generated at the defined events and sent to those who have been put into that receiving matrix. Notifications are generated and shown on the screen if the user is logged in. If he is not logged in, they are kept in the mailbox. When the user logs in, the notifications are shown. Here there is another view of the notification. This indicates that I have not yet read the notification. When I am done, all that I do is click on this icon, which will tell the system that I have read it. And this trash will help me to remove this from my view, so that next time I will not see this, and it would still be there in the system, but it would go away from my view. Then here I have a functionality of setting up my favorite menu. Suppose I have to do a indent print every day. And what I do is I go to indent print, and then I add to favorite. I may call it indent. I have a way of defining my own menu name also. So it has been added to my favorites. So next time when I log in, indent print will be shown to me in my favorites. Here we have very extensive search. Like if I want to search through any item, let's say I have as all of you know, Item Master is the largest database in any ERP, in a manufacturing ERP. Suppose I want to know how many items do I have in my Item Master, which have descriptions where I have used a word called pipe or tube or bar. And I want to search through description. So it brings out all those items where either pipe or tube or bar is written in the description. See here, the bar is written here, pipe is written, and so on. Another important feature is wherever there is a grid for user convenience, we have this drag and drop. So you can change the columns, the sequence of columns if required. So these are some of the features here. I have my own profile where I can keep my picture, and then I can also define my email body text and my signature. And here, as you can see, Microsoft Word like features have been provided to define your email body. So when you generate an email out of the system, suppose you are in the job function where you have to send out the purchase orders to your vendors, you would define your email body text, which is in context to that, and then you can obviously have your own signature, which will be appended at the bottom, and you can put your picture, which will be shown to you when you log in. So this is my profile that I can create. Now getting into the product, the first and foremost thing that we have is setting up of the policies. As you can see, the product is modular. So what you get to see here at the top are the modules. For every module, the organization which is implementing New Horizon can set up the policies. Now, policies are rules that you want the organization to follow. I am just illustrating or showing you one, which is purchase policy. The first question is, should PO remain open after rejection is made? You can decide whether you would want to accept the fresh material against existing PO, or you would want the new purchase order to be made if the total quantity was received. Then control related questions such as allow changing purchase rate in purchase order and PO amendment entry. We have a ironclad mechanism to define purchase rates in the system where the relationship with the vendor for an item is defined with its rates and taxes and discounts. You can tell the system that once I have created that relationship and locked it, purchaser should not be allowed to change the rate, or purchaser should not be allowed to change the discount. Similarly, on this side, there are issues related to indent. Indents, as I explained to you in the presentation, are created by AutoShop. Now, once that is done, do you want the purchaser to change the PO quantity, that is, have a greater PO quantity than what is given in the indent? By setting up this flag, you can control the quantities coming into the company. You may say that I do not want the purchaser to have additional quantities. I just want him to convert an existing indent quantity into purchase order quantity. Similarly, delivery schedules are also brought into the indent from AutoShop. As I explained to you, when to buy is equally important. So do you want the purchaser to change the delivery schedule? Because if you allow a delivery to come early, necessarily you will carry a higher inventory carrying cost. So these are policy related decisions that you will take when you implement. On this side, allow PO authorization without SEO link if you are in a business where you do job-based procurement. So material that you buy comes into the company for a specific job. So do you want PO authorization to be done even if the SEO link is not provided? This is possible only in cases where indents were not created in AutoShop. Otherwise, AutoShop would have put an SEO link there. So these are some of the questions that you would answer at the time of implementation, so that your company would work exactly according to the rules set there. Similarly, there is MRP policy, there is shop policy. I'll now browse through the finance policy. As I told you, we have a complete integration between ERP modules related to manufacturing and finance. There are accounts which your customer may or may not have in the chart of accounts, which are required in New Horizon for auto posting of financial transactions. So for every such transaction that takes place in ERP, there is an auto post account which will be mapped. So there are accounts here, as you can see, which will impact the P&L side. Here you can see variety of account types like scrap account. So when material moves into scrap godown, this account will be updated by or rejection. Similarly, there are accounts on the liability, asset, and income side. On liability side, whenever there is a material received in the store, a GRN liability is created. So where would it be posted? This is my control account for that. Then there are asset type of auto post accounts. Like rejection is your inventory, so it stays in your inventory, so it's an asset type of account. Then WIP, when material is issued from store to the shop, WIP account is posted automatically. So these are some of the setup that you have to do when you implement New Horizon. And then there are other control functionalities like allow negative balance in cash transaction and allow changing taxes while doing bill passing. Do you want to maintain location wise check numbers? Do you allow to payment of debtors by RTGS or NEFT? Create first level profit center for each sales OF at the time of sales OF authorization. This is what I mentioned in my presentation, that you can ask system to create first level profit center automatically whenever an order acknowledgement form is authorized. The system New Horizon will capture all the costs and all the incomes booked under that OF and show you the profitability for every order that you have booked. So system controls or policies are the first thing that you do when you start using or implementing New Horizon. Coming to the other side, you create roles in the system. Like a role has been created here, that of an account manager. Now, what is it that account manager role will be allowed to do in the system is defined here. So these are the functionalities, and check boxes which are shown here indicates that these functions should be allowed in the role called account manager. So roles are created depending upon the requirement of the organization. The second part is to create users. So you have a user management functionality. Users are created with the login name and password, etc. You can set up the expiry date of the password and then attach it to a role, and also attach it to the company and the site to which this user will have the access. So a user gets connected with three things: the role in which he has to work, the companies to which he will have the access, and the sites of these companies to which he will have access. So these are some of the basic setups that you do when you start implementing New Horizon. Then we come to a very important master, which is the class and subclass master. As you know, item masters in manufacturing companies are really large, running into tens of thousands of items, in some cases many more than that. So it is essential that these items are properly grouped for MIS purposes, as well as in case of New Horizon for its linkage to the financial accounting system. A class and subclasses within a class are definitions created by users. So you have a class and its description. For every class, there are certain parameters or dimensions that you would define. One is inventory valuation method that you will follow in this class. So we support three. You could have FIFO or a moving average or at actual valuation for this class. Nature of item is defined in the system, so you can connect a nature of item with a class. Nature of item also governs the behavior of certain functions. Then For material tracking, we have several parameters through which we do that. If you are in a business where incoming material carries serial numbers, which you may track because you may be getting back-to-back warranty on the items, you can do the serial number tracking. Similarly, you can create manufacturing batches for your finished products. You can have inward batch created for material that is coming in. So if it is one each in number, it is usually serial number. If it is a lot, it is batch. Heat number is a specific control mechanism for those companies who buy material from steel mills or foundries. Steel mills or foundries provide heat numbers. Shelf life is for those items which carry expiry date, useful in many cases where material has to be used before expiry date. In this class, whether QC is required to be done when material comes in. So there is a module for this, a QC module. And then whether indents are required to be made for this class of items, and whether these items are required for job-based MRP. You can also define percentage of excess quantity at the time of GRN against P order quantity for this class, which means that if there is an order for 10 tons and if material received is 10.5 tons, should GRN be allowed to be made? So you can say that up to 5% excess I'll allow. So GRN can be made for 5% quantity more than the order quantity. We also do fast, slow, non-moving analysis, so the parameters can be defined here. And now we come to this linkage. Inventory link to accounts. So for this group code, which is account master group code, and for this account, this class, whenever there is a movement of material in this class, this account will get posted. So this establishes the link between, a very critical link between manufacturing part of ERP and financial accounting. And for every group, you can define the buyer and the planner. So class definition is very important. And similarly, you can create multiple subclasses under a class. So this is again your own definition where you would define classes and subclasses. You can also define document controls. So document control, for every transaction in New Horizon, there is a matching document created. So as you can see on the left hand side, the tree shows the type of transactions that we have in the system. So for you to decide how many document types would you want to create, I would take the example of material purchase for illustration. So in material purchase, I would say that I would require authorization. I may require multiple authorization also. So multiple authorization is more than one people have to authorize the document for it to become valid. And I could do it by value also, and I could do it by levels also. Whether auto number generation is required for that document, and whether you want to make site specific number generation. So when we set up the system, this is very important for us to configure. So for every transaction in the system, there is a document control setting done. Now, as you can see, there are multiple types of policies and masters, but I have shown you things which are important to be highlighted. Now we move to the cycle, the manufacturing cycle side. I will start off with the item master. Item master is the most important master in a manufacturing setup. What you are seeing on your screen here is the item master definition, which has two panels. One is item definition, where you define the item code, give the description to the item. You can also have a detailed description, any additional description that you may have. What you see here, my cursor is pointing to this picture of a computer. You can attach the photograph or image of the item for easy identification. This information linkage to the class is done here at the item master level. So your class and subclass get associated with the item in the item master. Material of construction, shortly in abbreviation, it is called MOC. If this is an item that has a material of construction, you can define that as well. Typical examples would be whether a part is made up of mild steel, whether it's a carbon steel, whether it's brass, or what have you, or a rubber or plastic. And then nature of item, we have fixed nature of items, your product, and your spare. Item types are manufactured items or bought out items. Within each, we have manufactured component and manufactured assembly, or bought out component and bought out assembly. This is very important unit of measurement. Unit of measurement, as you know, multiple units of measurements are available in New Horizon. This one is called internal unit of measurement, in which bill of material quantities are defined and in which inventory quantities are shown. So basic unit of measurement is your internal unit of measurement. Here, inherited properties from class will be shown to you, like whether this item requires serial number, whether QC is required. So whatever is applicable, you would select. Now, this is important, dimension-wise stock keeping required. I mentioned about functionalities related to fabrication. Here, you would be able to connect between the fabrication requirements and the item master. If the items that you are using have dimensions such as length and diameter, or length and breadth and thickness, they can all be defined here. So if I would say dimension wise stock keeping required, it will ask me the sizes of what is the standard size of this item. So if I say I am buying 3mm sheet from the market, the standard size that I get is let's say 5000 millimeters by 2500 millimeters. Then I can define those standard sizes here by dimension. Then this is an important flag where you would say whether work order is required to be created. Work orders are documents and data capture points which help you to track your inventory by the part code and also capture cost of that part if it is manufactured. So in a bill of material, a hierarchical bill of material, you would have multiple places where you can decide whether you want to create a work order for that item. So this is a flag to support that. We also have Kanban functionality in New Horizon. Kanban is a manufacturing methodology or philosophy where for certain C-class items, you have warehouses on the shop floor and material can be picked as required, need not be issued. And at the end of the manufacturing cycle, when work order is closed, the bill of material quantity defined would automatically be removed from the inventory. So Kanban functionality is supported in New Horizon. We also have a functionality where you either work in a very controlled environment and material is allowed to be issued according to the bill of material quantity, or you also have the option of giving additional material against the work orders, the value of which can get added to the cost of manufactured item. So these are some of the salient features of the item master. You can also attach your files with the item master if required. So these are some of the things that you would put in the item master. Moving forward, the next important part is defining the master bill of material or product structure as we call it in New Horizon. So I would take an example of a computer which all of us understand. So this is my standard product structure for making a computer. Now what do I have here? I have an item called computer HP. What all do I put in it? There has to be a cabinet. So this is the cabinet for which there is a bill of material where I require a front cover and back cover. So front cover, how is it made? It is made out of 5mm plate. and back cover again made out of 5mm plate. Keyboard is a bought out item from me, so I do not have any data related to manufacturing. Hard disk, I have options. Either I can have a 2 terabyte hard disk or a 1 terabyte hard disk. So I can decide which kind of hard disk do I want to put in. And mouse is an optional item for me. So the relationship type are all defined here as mandatory, feature, or optional type of items. So what you get to see here is M, which is mandatory. So these items will be automatically picked up when you make a customer bill of material. Here you would have the option to take the feature, one of the features or one of the options. Feature has to be there, of which one option is mandatory. And this is purely optional. I may use it in my final bill of material, I may not use it. So product structures have to be created, which are your master bill of material, and they have to be frozen. And from that, you can create a customer bill of material. So customer bill of material can be created from two sources. One is that I may have a customer order, or the other is that I could have a stock order. So if I have a customer order, I could pick up from the customer order and make a bill of material for that, or I could take a stock order and make a bill of material from stock order. So customer bill of material, I would let's say take some sales of order. So here again, I have created a customer bill of material, which is meant for a specific order. Now, which is that order? This item is going to be made for Ankur Corporation. This is his purchase order number and one quantity has to be made. This is the order acknowledgement form. So now I have the customer bill of material. I can pick and choose between options in a feature and optional items. And once customer bill of material is made, actual planning and production cycle will start. Two important things that I would like to touch upon here is we have a controlled mechanism of changing the bill of material. So any change required to be done to a frozen product structure has to be done through a note called engineering change note, where you can decide which change is required to be done. If I show you a fresh one to be made, it will ask you what do you want to do. I would say I want to create another engineering change. So under which parent do I want to change that? So I would say I want to make a change in this parent called empty body. What do I want to do? Add child items, delete child items, replace items, or create a revision. So for every change that I want to do in my master product structure, I have a control after which only a change will be brought into effect. One cannot simply go and edit the master bill of material. Similarly, if I want to make a change to existing customer bill of material, I have to create a customer change note. Now customer change note again would have this add item, delete item, replace, change quantity, and change remark. Quickly elaborating this further, a customer change note is a document which has very wide impact on the actual functioning of the MRP cycle. If I am adding new item, obviously it has to be planned for. So if something new is coming into my bill of material, I have to buy or manufacture that item. But if I'm removing something or if I'm reducing quantity of some item, it can have effect on the entire chain of planning and production and procurement. What all can happen? I have done a customer change note for which bill of material is just made, no planning has been done. Then it is easy. I just go and change the bill of material. But if planning had already started, then there is a possibility that material allocation would have been done. An item is now removed from the bill of material automatic deallocation is done by customer chain node at the time of authorization. If this item was in the pipeline, the link that I mentioned with the sales job order or the customer order would be removed for this item, the quantity that you are reducing or the item that you are removing. A change in MRP position. If the item was issued to the shop floor, then a return note is created by the system, and only after stores is authorizing that return note, this CCN will be allowed to be applied. If material was sent out to a subcontractor, system will give a report that these gate passes are open against this job. Please bring this material back and give it to store. Only then the bill of material change can be effected. So CCN is a document that gives a total control over your material procurement, planning, and production cycle. So bill of material change is not taken lightly in New Horizon because it can save your precious inventory cost. So this is as far as important masters are concerned on the manufacturing side. Now we get into CRM. The major master here in CRM is customer master. So every detail of a customer is captured here. This related, the information related to the location, the statutory requirements such as GST and other statutory numbers like permanent account number and all the contact details, because we also send out mails directly from and SMS messages also from the system. So these details are captured. You can have your own definition of sales region. You can define credit limits, and two important controls that we have here is for this customer, after this credit limit is exhausted, do you want the sales order to be booked with a warning, or do you want to stop booking of the order if the order credit limit is violated? Similarly, at the time of making of the sales invoice, if the credit limit is violated, crossed, do you want just a warning or you want to stop making of the invoice? So when customer is created, and along with that, the account is created in the chart of accounts for that customer. Now here we have something which is very helpful to people who use integrated finance in our system. As you know, customers are a part of sundry debtors, and many a times you receive advance from the customer, which in normal cases people would want to book against sundry debtors only, which shows them an incorrect picture of outstanding. So we have a functionality with which you would be able to create a customer account on the liability side as well. So advance received would go to that account, and sundry debtors would be used only for posting of invoices and money received against invoices. Again, the interconnect and integration is that when you are actually booking the invoice of the customer, system shows you that this money is lying in advance and you can transfer it through a JV into the debtor account. Similarly, you may have retention type of situation, so you can create a retention account also on your current asset side. So money that is not going to be due to you for a certain length of time can be transferred into retention account. So typically a customer account could have one on the liability side and two on the current asset side. So once a customer master is created, you have other important, I'll touch upon another important master here, which is called sales item. So sales item master is the definition of item from the sales side. The one that we saw earlier was from the internal or manufacturing side. Here you can give a separate sales item code for that item. It's a separate sales unit of measurement, link it to the internal item, define the prices here, and the prices in multiple currencies can also be defined. So you have the currency code and you define the prices there. So sales items are created and the price lists are generated for items that you are selling, which could be a product type of item or in some cases spares kind of item. And then for your regular customers, you can have a relationship established between the sales item and the customer. So you have item customer master, where you connect a customer to the items that he is regularly buying. and you can create customer specific price lists here. Once the customer gives you the inquiry, it goes into the lead. Now a lead entry is done. Either you have the existing leads in the system or you create a fresh lead. So if you are creating a fresh lead, you have the details here like customer, which of our salesperson is going to handle this. We also support project kind of business. So whether this is a non-project lead or a project lead, you get the lead details. Each lead has a unique serial number generated for it. Source of lead is what you would define. This is your definition of how this lead was received. You also have tender situations, so you enter tender related details. We capture follow-up. So for this lead, how much follow-up has been done is also shown to you. Items for which the lead has been received is also shown to you. And you can have the file attachments with the lead. So a lead goes into the system. I would open one of the entered leads. So this data is then captured in the system. Lead is the starting point. Next is offer. So when you go to offer, it could be either based on leads that you have entered, or it could be a fresh entry of quotation directly without the lead. So if I say add new, that is I want to create new quotation, system will prompt me whether it is based on inquiry, that is lead, or without inquiry. If it is based on inquiry, system will fetch the data directly from there and only missing information has to be shown. Another feature of New Horizon is that you can filter the list view. I have just filtered it for pending authorization. So I'm shown only those records where I have yet not done the authorization. If I want to see only authorized transactions, I would be able to see that. So quotations are generated in the system based either on the leads or entered directly. So offer is a document that can be made and printed from the system. All the relevant information about the items, the taxes which will be applicable, and possible order value if this comes to you are all shown here in your currency as well as in customer currency if it is an export kind of a transaction, and all the taxes which are applicable and rates and terms that are applicable here. So these are some of the things that go into making of an offer. If the offer is there in the system, or even if the offer is not there in the system, you enter the sales order. So you have the sales order receipt. I'll open one of the existing ones. Same options you get. If you have the offer, it will fetch data from the offer. If you have a direct sales order coming to you, you can directly enter the sales order in the system. You don't have to actually prepare the offer to do this. So this is without quotation reference, and the data here is that of a customer called Ankur Corporation, who is in Ahmedabad in an area called Vatwa, and these are the details about his order number because he would have given the order to you, so he would have given the order number. We also support agency association, so you can attach agents and their commission structures for the items that are sold through him, and the calculation of this commission is also done in the system. So agency based business is also supported. Important thing here is a customer could have order from, bill to, and ship to different addresses. We support that. A customer could have multiple different shipment addresses, and we also take into account the GST related requirements if the shipment addresses are different than their billing addresses. So this is how the order is booked. And on the lead follow-up side, we have follow-ups done for variety of things. So you can do the follow-up for the inquiry that is entered into the system. You could also do the follow-up for orders. You could also do the follow-up for quotations. So every follow-up is captured here. So you get to see whether it was an inquiry follow-up, quotation follow-up, order follow-up, invoice follow-up, or any other kind of follow-up. Not only we capture the details of the current follow-up, we also capture the details of when do you plan to do the next follow-up. So next follow-up is also shown here. So all these are captured. So once a customer order is in place, the next step is to prepare an order acknowledgement form. So you have order acknowledgement form. Order acknowledgement form is a confirmation of the customer order. Once customer order is confirmed, then it is taken up for planning. So from here, this is order confirmation form. From here, we will get into AutoShop. AutoShop is our planning engine, as I told you. So you get into planning situation. For planning, you have two routes. One is existing material. If it is already available, you can set up the sequence in which you would want to plan for material. So you set up OAF sequence, all the orders that you have received. So this is the sequence of orders, which is by its natural chronology. You can change the sequence if you want. And in AutoShop, you would have, I would show you now the AutoShop screen, where you would have data coming in from customer orders for traded items and sales of orders for manufactured items, which have come from the customer bill of material. Here you have three options: sales of order, order acknowledgement form, and MIL. These are the three things for which you could run your planning engine. So this is your SEO requirement, this is your OAF, which have been brought into AutoShop, and this is your MIL. Now, what are the controls that you have? You can do the material planning for selected SEOs, you can do material planning for selected OAFs, and you can do material planning for minimum inventory level items. AutoShop can be run at defined times, so you could schedule the run of MRP. Now, once you launch AutoShop, all the material planning, as I explained to you, is done automatically, at the end of which, for bought out items, indents will be created. For manufactured items, work orders will be created, and for subcontracted operations, labor job indents will be created. So essentially, all this will be done by AutoShop itself. Now, once AutoShop is run, you could also get to see the AutoShop log, because all these things would have been done obviously by the system in the background. So you could select the date and time for which AutoShop was run, and with which selections was this done is also shown to you, and what all activities took place is shown to you. So whether deallocation of material was done, whether allocation of material was done, whether work orders were done, whether indents were done, whether OF allocation was done. So everything is available in AutoShop log, and which warehouses were selected, whether there were any errors, etc., are all available in AutoShop log. Now, for the manufactured items, as I said, work orders will be created. For procured items, indents will be created. So now we go to the procurement cycle. Vendor master will be the first major master to be created on the procurement side. Same as in case with the customer, we capture all the data related to the vendor. So all vendor information will be available here. And as I said, on the vendor side, that is your creditor side, again you have the option of creating 3 accounts. So money that you pay in advance to the vendors, the creditors, is shown on the asset side, and then on the liability side you could have the creditor account and retention account. For item which you are buying from the vendor, there is an item vendor relationship file that you create. So item vendor relationship file will relate or link items to a particular vendor, and the rates at which these items are bought, obviously the currency, the rate, discount, and what is the landed price is calculated by the system based on the rate structure. Add and edit is a controlled facility here. Delivery date is defined and stamped with the user who created this record and the last update date. You could deactivate the relationship, which means that from this vendor you do not want to buy this item. You could also deactivate a vendor entirely, that you do not want to buy anything from this vendor for the time being. So item vendor relationship is a very crucial file. As I said, this is the control file which can be made more effective if you say rate and discounts cannot be changed at the time of making of the purchase orders. So based on the item vendor relationship file, indent to purchase order is created. It's a conversion process. So you create purchase orders out of the indents which are generated by the system. All those items which are default items for this vendor will be shown to you. You select those items which you want to in this purchase order. As this is a job-based procurement functionality, you can also pick and choose between the jobs that you want to actually order for. So you can select any SAO or any UAF based on which the items will be brought into the purchase order. Purchase orders are considered to be sacrosanct in New Horizon because every valuation, inventory valuation and costing is done through purchase order rates. So POs are made and then they have to be authorized. Once authorization is done, no editing can be done, and any change to the purchase order thereafter has to be brought in through purchase order amendment. There are other purchase functionalities as well, which are short closing of the purchase order, cancellation of the purchase order. If nothing has been received against a purchase order, you can cancel it. If partially deliveries have been received, you can short close them. As we have the material purchase cycle, we also have the service purchase cycle. You have three kinds of purchasing in New Horizon. You have material purchase, you have service purchase, and you have subcontracted item purchase, which is your labor kind of purchases. So services can be purchased through service purchase orders. Similarly, there is a labor kind of relationship which is in subcontracting. So you can create a relationship file. This is a subcontracting module, and purchasing for the subcontracting can be done from item vendor labor, which is a part of purchase module. So same as you do for your material, you have the functionality to set up relationship file for jobs that you get done outside. So here you have the per item per process code rate, and this could be defined for a period or for quantities with the applicable taxes. So three kind of purchases possible: material, labor, and service. Going forward, once purchase orders are placed, then inventory would kick in, material would start coming in. Inventory can be classified or stored in multiple warehouses. This may be physical or logical warehouses. So when you are creating a new warehouse, system will prompt you, first of all, for which site, and here you have predefined in warehouse types. So you have a physical warehouse, you have site warehouse, you have scrap warehouse, customer supplied, capital, receiving, rejection, Kanban, and process. So select the kind of warehouse that you are creating. Customer supplied warehouse is a warehouse where material coming from customers is stored. So it has no inventory value for you. It is for quantity tracking. So, and there are controls like hide inventory of warehouse from MRP. You may decide that this is a warehouse where I want to keep my spares, and this should not get into my actual material planning cycle. So you can hide that warehouse from your MRP. It is your auto shop. And consider for valuation whether at the time of preparation of the stock valuation report should this warehouse be considered. So this is the major requirement definition of warehouse. Then you can start off with gate invert. You can configure in the policy whether gate inward is required or not required. Goods receipt notes are made against purchase orders. So once you select a vendor, all the pending purchase orders of that vendor are shown to you. You select the PO against which the material is being received, and then all the items which are received are shown to you, which are pending are shown to you. Items which are received, you have to enter the quantities here. It can allow you to enter only so much of quantity which is pending. You also enter the delivery challan quantity. Once, and GRN time, we capture a lot of other data as well, which is related to the documents which would have come with the GRN, and you can do the attachment of documents as well. Once a GRN is done, if you have set up the system such that authorization is required, then you can authorize the GRN. As I was showing to you earlier, pending for authorization, these three GRNs are required to be authorized. I would say authorized, and this GRN would be authorized. But before this, if you want to make any change to the GRN, you can. After the GRN is authorized, no change is possible. Once GRNs are authorized, postings take place in the stock ledger and also in the books of account. So what happens is that your Cardex will start showing this material as received. Your books of account will get posted, where the control account of GRN liability will be posted. Material account, material that has come in, GL account related to those material classes will be posted, and postable taxes will be posted. So GRN does a lot of things, and if the material has come for a specific job, it gets allocated to the job at the time of GRN. If GRN has items which require QC, then material will be shown to the people in QC as pending. So there is a QC module which I'll touch upon later. Once material is received and allocated, issue to shop floor transaction takes place. Allocation, again, done by AutoShop, can be done by users also. There are functionalities for automatic allocation, there's functionality for manual allocation also. Issue to shop floor is again an automated process where allocated material is brought into the issue slip. You can make the issue slip either work order wise or SGO wise or sales OAF wise. Items to be issued are shown with issue quantity possible, for which work order and for which job. So we recommend the practice that whatever material is required to be issued is pulled by the production team. They will select the job for which they want to work. All those items which are allocated will come into the issue slip, and the stores will pick the material from store and authorize this, and automatically posting will be done. Here again integration will kick in. So when the material was received, material class account would have been posted. So it's necessarily in the warehouse. When it is issued, WIP will be debited and the material account will be credited. So simultaneously value will move on the books as well. Once material is issued to a work order, production booking will be done against the work order. So labor production entry will be done. Here you would select the shop for which the booking is being done, the job against which the booking is being done. So you have the option of booking either a normal kind of manufacturing or a rework kind of manufacturing. Then you have the employee for which the time is going to be booked, the date on which the production was done, and then you have the job. If you select the job, it shows you the work orders related to the job only. If you select a work order, it will show you only a particular work order against which the time has to be booked. So labor production entry is done. Once labor production booking is done, then the work order receipt at the end of the process, when all the operations are booked, because there could be a sequence of operation which we would have defined in the process sheet on the engineering side. There could be a sequence here which is in the process sheet, which would have been inherited in a work order. So process sheet carry information about the sequence of operation and the work centers on which these operations have to be done, whether this is an inside operation or an outside operation. All inside operations will be or will have to be done on our shop floor. All outside operations will be given to the subcontractors. So when system, auto shop or manually generate work orders, this information of processes are carried into them. So if I uh, have a work order routing printed, it gives me all these details. Like I select a work order randomly, any work order. It shows me three things. One is what are the items required to manufacture this work order, and what are the operations required. So this is my sequence of operation. This is the work order number and related details. What is the start date and what is the due date? And then you have the operation sequence, and then you have the required items details. This would come from the bill of material. This would come from the process sheet. So work orders are key documents against which production booking is done. When finally production is done, stores will receive the material back in their hands. So as GRNs are made against purchase orders, work order receipts are made against work orders. Work order receipt is a document. I'll randomly show you one. This is the proof of receipt of finished material back in the warehouse. So this is my work order receipt. So work order receipt is coming back of the finished product in the warehouse, 49 quantities. This work order status is closed. For this job, this is the work order receipt number. These items were consumed. This is the value of the consumption. This is my material value. And I have not marked any shop floor addition here. So this is my total child value of material. At this rate, the parent item would have come into the stock ledger. So once top level work order for the finished item is done, material is available for dispatch. So you have the dispatch cycle. Sales allocation is a process through which you allocate material for sending out. Again, it's a reservation. It's a process which is reversible. You allocate the material against a job order. Order acknowledgement form. Items which are pending to be dispatched are shown to you. And then once this allocation is done, dispatch would be possible. There are two dispatch documents. One is delivery note and the other is invoice. You can allocate maximum to the extent of customer order quantity and to the extent available in stock. So allocation is done, based on which the delivery challan and invoice are done, which is a part of our dispatch cycle. So delivery challan is done. Delivery challan again has a finance posting effect. I would also would want to rewind slightly. Work order receipt would also have a finance impact. Finished goods that came back into stock, account related to the material would be posted, and that would be debited, and WIP would be credited. So here delivery challan is made. Delivery challan would remove inventory from stock from finished goods and take it into, send it out of the company. On the books of account, there is a control account called DC asset account, which will get posted, and your finished goods account will be credited. The class link, the ledger account linked to the class of material will be credited. When invoice is made, the posting will be done in the books of account. Multiple postings will be done. Here, sales will be credited. Invoices are made based on the order acknowledgement forms. One cannot change the rate in the invoice. The rate in the order acknowledgement form is considered as final. When invoices are made, party account is debited naturally, sales account is credited, and postable taxes are credited. But other than that, we also debit the cost of goods sold. So material that has been now invoiced, your COGS will be debited and value that was lying in DC asset account will be credited. So invoice generates these multiple financial entries, and all these would go into the books of account. And invoice will close the cycle that started off with the customer order. Now, as it is, we had planned till 1 o'clock. What I have not been able to touch upon is the subcontracting cycle, which I'll do quickly in next 5 minutes for everybody to get a feel of it, and then I'll start taking questions. Subcontracting cycle can be triggered both from the stock as well as from the shop floor. Labor job gate pass is a key document through which material is sent out to the subcontractor. Gate pass again creates transactions on stock ledger as well as in the books of account. We have a control account called third party account. As soon as a gate pass is authorized, value of the material that has been sent out to the subcontractor is debited to third party WIP and credited in your either in your warehouse or in your WIP from wherever the material is gone. You can send material to the subcontractor, which is the raw material required for him to work on. This could, as I said, happen from stock or from the shop floor. Another document required is labor job indent. Now, indents, as I said, are created by Autoshop, but you could also manually create indents if required. A labor indent is a document that indicates to the subcontractor what is it that he has to manufacture, because he would have received the raw material which is used in multiple different parent items. So one has to tell him what exactly has to be made. So indent is a document which gives him two important pieces of information: what has to be made and when is the delivery expected. So you can Autoshop would have known this if it was a part of your shop floor activity, and it would have created a labor indent. If you want to send out something from stock, you have to create a manual indent, and this is where the details are given, that this is my indent number, this is the party to whom I am sending this, and this is the item, this is the quantity, and this is the delivery date. So indents, another key document apart from the gate pass. And then the third important document is rate contract that I mentioned. Once the material is manufactured by the subcontractor and given back to you, a GRN is made. Just as we have a GRN against the purchase order, this is a GRN against labor job order. There is a receipt of parent item back in stock. Once the material is received back, it goes for QC. QC is a very detailed module here. You have, I'll right now touch upon the subcontractor's QC because that is where we are right now. So material that is coming back from a subcontractor can also or would also pass through the cycle of QC. This quality check called QC entry would have multiple possibilities. One is either I accept the material or send it back for rework or create a rejection. Rejection, if created, could have a cause attached to it, whether it was due to subcontractor's fault or whether it was due to the material, quality of material. So you enter all those details here in terms of quantities. So if it is rework, another gate pass is made and material sent back. If it is a rejection, material is retained because it was our material. But if it is due to material, the vendor rejection note will have to be made for that item. If it was due to subcontractor, a debit note may have to be made for the subcontractor. So this is what happens during the QC. If it passes QC, material comes back either in stock or goes to the shop floor. And QC, as I said, is a module which supports doing the quality check from multiple sources, incoming material against GRN. Two types of QC possible. One is accept reject kind of QC. Everything that is pending for QC is shown here. You can accept or reject quantities. That is the simplest kind of QC. Another kind of QC is that you can define the parameters, the QC plan, which will help you to measure every parameter and record it against the standard values. This is for the incoming material. So you have the GRNs, and then you enter. It shows you all the PO related details, and you enter the quantities both in purchase unit of measurement as well as internal unit of measurement for accepted and rejected quantities. Similarly, there is in-process QC. In the process sheet, after every operation, you can define whether you require QC. So when you define the process sheet for every operation, there is this control where you say QC is yes. So even after production booking is done, material is shown as pending for QC. Only after QC is cleared, here you get to see this flag called QC required. If it is set up as yes, material is given to internal QC, and only after it is cleared, it goes to the next operation. So you have incoming material QC, you have subcontracted QC, you have in-process QC. And then other transactions are, if material is rejected, you go to the vendor rejection note to send that material back out. Based on that, a debit note is created. All these have direct links to MRP. So whenever there is a rejection recorded on the shop floor or in the incoming material, MRP is updated suitably. If there is a return of material due to change of priorities, MRP is updated suitably. So all this is very tightly integrated. Finance, we have a fully integrated financial accounting system. Starts with the definition of chart of accounts, which can be inherited from your existing accounting system like Tally. And if somebody wants to integrate Tally, it can be synchronized with Tally. But we cover everything. So your bill passing will be done here based on the GRNs that you have made in the system. So for all your purchases, whether material purchase, labor purchase, or service purchase, your bill passing is done here in financial accounting system. Directly from this, your GST records will be updated. TDS, we have a whole structure here. So applicability of TDS at the vendor level, the categorization of TD in different sections along with the applicable rates, etc. is defined here. So when you are doing service or subcontracted material bill passing, TDS will be accounted for. So you have the TDS percentage here, the section under which that TDS has to be deducted, and the limits, etc. So financial accounting system complies with the statutory needs of GST as well as TDS. We give out the outputs in Excel formats for offline updation. Bill passing based on GRN. So sales invoices are directly booked into the financial accounting system. You can do cost profit center breakup here at the time of entering the transaction. Bank transactions again are a unique kind of transactions in IMM in New Horizon, because when you are paying out money, usually it's a simple straightforward bank transaction. But in our case, what you could do is, if you are making a payment to the vendor, you could, I would select a bank book which do the checking of check numbers also. You can define serial numbers, and then transaction for payment from bank. And then I have, I would have to have the date, which is here I have to select the check number which I am issuing right now. Let's say I want to give So I would say advance payment, against bill payment, or retention payment. If I say advance payment, I have to give the group, I would say advance given to creditors. Here I am selecting the vendor. This is so when I say advance given to creditor, it gets booked into that asset kind of account instead of on the liability side of account. It says account of asset. So money would go into the asset account and not into his regular creditors account. So we have such functionalities built in on the financial accounting side. It gives all the final reports like trial balance, balance sheet, profit and loss, payable, receivable. So fully functional financial accounting system integrated with other parts of ERP. I have already overflown the time limit by nearly 15 minutes. Thank you very much, all of you, for being a part of this webinar. Now I am unmuting the microphones and I request you to raise your hands for questions. Yes, so microphones have now been unmuted. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, Vinay bhai, bataiye.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, we have started in the morning and it's now afternoon. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I took more
No,
time
no,
than
it's
planned.
okay. No, it's okay. The product is so deep. So 1.5 hour, I think, is very less in that case. Anyway, my question is, whenever the notification is received regarding a purchase order or whatever the notification in our product, you said that we can delete them, right?
Yes.
After viewing it. So is it possible that we can have a notification sorted as a unread and a read so that unread
Yes.
can be seen regularly?
That's what you can have. Unread. You can set up the view. It says view all, but you could
Yeah.
always have the unread notifications. I'll go to the home screen. We also have an
Yeah.
indication. We also have the indication. See, this indication shows that these are
Yeah.
unread messages. So they come sorted. And
Okay.
they here on this side you have only unread. When you say
Okay.
view all, then you would have
Yeah.
everything here.
Okay. That's what I want. Thank you.
For everybody's information, today's session, today's webinar is about giving an overview. We plan to have training sessions conducted where we would go into the details of each module and each function. So we will inform everybody about the schedule, and then you would be able to participate. in the training sessions as well. Yes, Vinayak bhai, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Are you able to provide this recorded webinar on the mail?
Yes, we will be able to do that. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Please do that. Unmesh bhai, one question I wanted to ask. Good afternoon.
Yes, Rakesh ji, bataiye. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to understand, like, a case of job, which we give it to outside for, job work.
Yes.
That particular indent can we create the barcodized number of that indent number? I mean, that, what do you call, the outward slip number? So that
We
when
can.
it comes back, can we just scan that and get it very fast? Something like
Yes,
that?
definitely. Rakesh ji, we can have barcode stickers printed with the requisite details. At the document level, it could be document number, vendor code, date,
Yeah.
etc.
So that can
And
be
at
done.
yes, at the item level, it could be item code related data also, but it can be done. Yes.
Okay. And can we do the sort of interfacing with the handheld devices also?
Yes, of course.
I
See,
mean,
a
your
barcode
database is
scanner.
open so that we can organize, we can write a program on a handheld device which can interact with the database and can give that.
Good question, Rakesh ji. As I should have said this, the new architecture that we have in New Horizon is API based. So we can expose the APIs. So
Okay.
you could directly access the data through APIs. So any
Okay, so we
handheld
can write an
device.
Android program through your
Yes,
APIs and can
yes.
access
It
the data.
supports multiple, it's cross-platform. So we have used .NET Core. So you can use any OS to call our APIs.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
Chirag bhai, you have a question? ચિરાગ ભાઈ સવાલ છે કઈ? કેતન ભાઈ? Mr. Ketan Ghiwala?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Ketan bhai, good afternoon. Unmesh.
Good afternoon, Umesh. There were three words in integration with CAD, AutoCAD, Tally, and PLM.
Yes.
What is full form of PLM or what is PLM?
Okay. PLM
Pardon?
is product life cycle management tool. It is a class of products. Like ERP is a class of products. PL life cycle management tool.
Management tools. Okay.
Now,
And one more
briefly,
word.
what does it do?
Yeah.
What does it do? You may say that it is an ERP for engineering designs. As you know, there are different kinds of design tools available in the market, and a product right from conceptualization stage gets onto one of these CAD tools or the actual design, the data related to which is all stored in the PLM tool. So you could be using multiple CAD tools, but this data will then be collated in the PLM, this product lifecycle management tool. It will keep the entire history from conceptualization to deactivation of the product. So PLMs are very useful in manufacturing setups.
Okay, thank you. And one more word on in BOM, ECN entry. What is ECN entry?
Engineering change note. This is a terminology that we use.
Yeah.
It is not people in engineering manufacturing would recognize this, but it is a document you can change the existing master bill of material. So it is called engineering change note, ECN.
Okay. Thank you. And
Yeah.
this is very much good basic information, and we require very deep training on these all modules.
We will get into the details of each module during the training for every function.
Hello. Unmesh bhai, these ECNs are connected to the PLM?
Yes, in fact, if you are using a PLM tool, then you will actually do the design change in PLM first, and that data will flow into ERP. because you would have changed something in your drawing, which will
Yeah.
then be brought into the ERP.
Okay. Thank you.
You're right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Umesh, Abdul
Hello.
here from Hyderabad.
Abdul bhai bolo.
Sir, can we get the reports also related to taxation part like GST of GST or TDS, which can
Yes.
be generally uploaded into the portals?
Yes. We have the GST and TDS reports, which come out in standard upload templates, which you can use to
Okay.
upload in the government portals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your भाई सवाल છે કાંઈ?
ઉન્મેશ ભાઈ,
જી સર.
સર આપણે જે કોઈ કસ્ટમર આ ERP માં જાય તો બેકએન્ડ માં ડેટાબેઝ કયો યુઝ થાય?
Okay, I'll translate that in English first because there are people joining who do not understand Gujarati. That is fine. The question was that which is the backend database that we use. We have Microsoft SQL Server as our backend database.
Okay.
So front end. Please go ahead. Pucho.
So at the time of procuring the ERP by customer, are they need to procure the SQL licenses also parallelly?
There are two possibilities. One is that if the operations are such that the database size does not exceed 10 GB, then there is a version of SQL Server called SQL Server Express, which is a free edition from Microsoft, which can be used. If the customer has operations which are large, then we recommend that a license may be bought. But this decision is left to the customer.
Okay.
Milind bhai, you have a question?
No, that was a good session, I would say. And how this type of webinars will continue, then we can get some more deep into the product.
Definitely, we'll keep on doing that. We'll keep you informed in advance, and we will get into the most granular level detail as we do in our trainings, so that you will get to know the product inside out, and you will be also able to speak as confidently as we do about the product.
Yeah, we want to go in such deep that we become more. So as this is an initial stage for us.
Yes.
So if we go, we can discuss with the customers on the first meet type also, that how we can
correct.
do product.
You know the product inside out, so that you can talk more confidently.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Vinit bhai.
Hello. Good afternoon, Unmesh bhai. कैसे हैं आप?
और एकदम मजे में, आप कैसे हो?
Unmesh bhai, first of all, it was a new dimension to the presentation because I have seen presentation through Rajesh bhai, and this had added a new dimension to the product. So thanks for this session.
Most welcome, Vinit bhai. Please go ahead.
Secondly, do we have any documentation which could bring a light on what are the changes that have been made with respect to IMMS and New Horizon?
I'll ask Rohit to make a note of it. We would definitely,
because there may be some new functionalities which have been added into the system, except for interface and platform. There might be some new facilities that you have added into the system. So can we have that release note sort of thing?
Yes, we'll get it done and send it across to everybody. Sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Thank you. Vinod bhai, you had a question?
Hello.
Hello.
Umesh bhai, I have asked it already.
Okay. Vinay bhai?
This is regarding the licenses. What you have explained, that is SQL Express and SQL 2000, right? SQL Server basically. If customer decides to go on a cloud and if his database is more, still he need to buy licenses in that case?
No, sir. In fact, when usually when you buy services on the cloud, it consists of two things. One is infrastructure, the physical infrastructure, which could be your virtual server with CPUs, RAM, hard disk, transfer, bandwidth, consumption of data, and so on. And on the other side, it is the operating system and support that you would need, like IIS and other licenses like SQL Server. So when you go to the cloud, you pay one price per month for the entire set of infrastructure that you would need, which would include both hardware as well as system software. So you can say that I want SQL Server for, let's say if you are a company where you need 10 users, then you would say I would have a 10 user license. So cloud service providers will give you this.
Thank you very much.
Right. Hello.
Unmesh bhai.
Aji.
Vinod here. Vinod Kutpuri from Catcom.
Bolo Vinod bhai. Good afternoon.
As I said, like so the session is definitely very useful. My question is, we talked about the product features yesterday. Will there be any session which will be on the sales front rather? Because my question is, during the presentation you have given the comparison with SAP, right?
Yes.
But there are today, I think the SAP may not be our today is a major competitor. We are fighting against the maybe Microsoft or TCS or maybe some local software vendors.
Okay.
So how do we fight or how do we position our product against this, the competitive product? So will there be any session we are planning to conduct?
This is an idea that you have given to us today. Definitely we would plan one. It would be a very nice session to have, because then we will be synchronizing ourselves internally to position our product in the market with the same kind of pitch. So yes, we'll plan one session entirely for sales only, not related to the details of the product, but more about how to position our product in the market and how to counter questions against the competition.
Yeah, and we also, I think, since the product, anyway, it's a good because we have we are positioning for last couple of months and getting good response. But my observation is like, we need to create some brand awareness of the product as well.
Correct.
So any such marketing, branding also, I think it is required. So that people will come to know about our product and features about it. So maybe you can think on this, right?
Sure, we will. Thank you very much for this idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Any more questions? Okay then, thank you very much all of you for participating and spending so much of your valuable time with us today. We will inform you about the detailed training sessions which could start as early as this week. We'll let you know in advance about the schedule. Please register, and together we will make sure that we become the product of choice for manufacturing companies in India as far as ERPs are concerned. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.